some people are truly unforgettable, but what makes them that way? And can we learn from them? My next guest says that there is an art to leaving a mark. Here to share how we can become more memorable is author and Balance Redefined founder, Connie Sokol. I think this is a notion, an idea that just makes you sit up a little straighter and lean in. Like, I want to be that person who, you know, doesn't necessarily get the fanfare or the attention. That's not what we're talking about, but makes a memorable impact on those we love.
Yes, and makes a difference. I think we all innately yearn for that we left our mark, we left our fingerprint, and we made something better.
How do you define that? How do you put that into kind of a baseline definition that we can work from?
Well, I think it's that right there. Just how do you want to make a difference? And I think that's where the problem is that we don't get real clear. We look at other people's and we go, oh, but I want to make a mark, but I can't do that, and I don't know how to do that. And then we think that we're not in the game and that we couldn't do it because we're not going to do what they do, but yet we want that same feeling. So I think it's going back to doing some brave choices, making them in daily life, that as we make those brave choices, we actually are leaving our mark along the way.
And you touched on what will be the buzzword of this conversation, which is brave. How does courage, Connie, connect to meaning? What's the connection there?
Oh, it's everything, because when we take the courageous steps, that's when things shift. Everything is in the mind, but first we got to make those brave decisions. And that's the first step, is first you have to make the brave choice to do something. You have to define it for yourself. You have to figure out, what is it that I'm doing? Too often women look at this life as like this window dressing and thinking, well, that's not for me. Not realizing everything that's in that window is available to everyone, just like it is for you. So you're going to have to decide. You can't pawn it off on anyone else. And once you make that decision, watch out. So you have to say to yourself, what is it I truly want to do? What is it that I want to have an influence on? Who do I want to influence, and how do I go about doing that? And that's where the courage comes in. I love that quote from Brene Brown about courage, because it's all about allowing ourselves to be seen. It's all about saying, putting ourselves out there and saying, courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen. It's saying, I have a desire, and I'm gonna, no matter win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna put myself out there. And that is a hard thing to do. Once you make the decision, then you're accountable. Then people know. Now you put yourself in your swimsuit out there and you're like, whoa! But once you do it, you can never go back, and the doors just keep opening. And that's the amazing thing. And instead of saying, well, that can't be mine or whatever, you can say, what is it I want to do? Do you want to raise a good family? Fabulous. Do you want to raise a good family and teach someone a skill or solve a problem or change a system, make a mark that way? Fabulous. You can do that. And it's just a matter of finding out how to do it from there.
You have an example of a woman who excels in this category of brave decision making. Tell us about Wendy Jones.
Sweet Wendy. She's one of the gals in one of our programs, and she has this autoimmune disease. And so many women with health problems go, well, I can't make my mark. I can't do whatever. And she's gorgeous inside and out. But she gets so debilitated by this, you would never know. So she made the steps. She did our program. We taught her how to do a mini life plan, how to get clear on her purpose. And she went from being down for a month with this attack to the very next month being able to achieve 3 of her bucket list dreams.
And courage was at the root of that
Courage
progression?
was everything, because she had to say, I can do this, I'm allowed to do this, and I will have support while I do this. And she made the steps, and the doors just open, and they keep opening. It was the courageous step of deciding that made the difference.
And faith. I mean, that affirming faith she had to put out there to push past her body or her perceived limitations.
That's right.
And get it done. Good for her. So brave decisions, brave conversations, you say, can also make their mark in our lives and other people's lives too.
And they can be life-changing. We can all think of someone that we've talked to who has said just the right words. I know Marlo Thomas has a book about this, the right words at the right time, where they've said something and it's just shifted us. And that's so key. But we have to put ourselves with the people we want to be with, where they are and what they do. We've got to open ourselves to those conversations. So read what they read what they write, listen to their podcasts, be at the conferences, be where they are to have those conversations. I just did a podcast interview recently with Clint Pulver, who's our MC for the event. He's a millennial speaker. He's amazing, so fun. And he shared, he said, I have never paid for coaching. Instead, I have gone up to people that have been my icons, and he said, I have 3 questions, and I asked them for 5 minutes minutes of their time. And then I send them a thank you card or something, and not as a strategy, but as a thank you for taking your time. He is doing fabulously because of that very thing. Those brave conversations of just being able to say, can I just have 5 minutes of your time?
Yeah, a 5-minute bold conversation.
5 minutes.
Enriches him and betters his life.
Oh, and then he turns around and makes his mark. I've had so many of those 5-minute conversations with different icon people, and I can always go back and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then my shout out to them is people, go talk to this person because they are so good to be able to help you. So you leave your mark along the way.
I remember hearing a mentor of mine, Kim Ferris, speak down at BYU as a student, and she was riveting. At that time, I didn't know her. She was riveting. She worked in the business. She had some amazing stories to share. I walked out of that room, and I was about a block away before I thought, I have some follow-ups. And I turned around, huffed and puffed it, ran back, backpack banging, right, against my back, and caught her on her way out the door and said, can I ask you a few more questions? It felt so bold and almost intrusive. Kim ended up being not only a mentor, but a boss of mine at my very first job. So those bold conversations in the moment might feel a little awkward and a little out of sorts or out of place, but they pay off, don't they, in rich ways?
Oh, that is a perfect example, and your gracious way of doing this is not shoving in. This is being respectful, but being able to be prepared and then using that conversation wisely.
30 seconds left. Talk to me about brave connections. How can this fuel us forward in our goals to be memorable?
So important. When you make yourself available for those people who will help you achieve the dream, it will happen. Just last year, 2 other women and I, we talked about, wouldn't it be great if there was an interfaith women's conference to help women of all faiths connect together with life challenges and deal with them? And we had no venue, no money, no keynote speaker, no nothing. But we went forward and we said, pull our connections. Who do we know? And everybody came together. We got the venue, we got the keynote speaker, we had it at UVU, Utah Valley University, and we had Paige Holland and Matt Holland come, and then Lieutenant Governor Cox, and all these people who were generous with their time and connections made it happen. And now we're in our 3rd event that's happening next week. So it's
amazing.
Incredible.
Still time to sign up for that event?
Yes, go to ConnieSokol.com and 25% discount off the ticket. There's just literally a few left. So if you go to ConnieSokol.com and put in Connie S for the discount, you get 25% for the viewers. So get your ticket quickly. It's a powerhouse lineup, 12 breakout speakers, incredible general session. It's a day to remember. Talk about make a mark.
What's the name of the event?
It's You Got This Women, Interfaith Women's Conference.
Awesome. Well, you are a bold woman, making your mark and doing great things. So thanks for inspiring us. Bold connections, bold conversations, bold decisions. That's one way to move forward and be memorable to those in your lives. Connie, thanks again for bringing this topic to the table.